This video was brought to you by Stormberg, a better route planner, MisterGreen, Kempower and Marcus Bil. Yo, what's up? Today I want to show you the charging curve of Optimus Prime. My previous Tesla Model X, I don't own it by the way, but I drove it back, long story, but anyway, it's a Tesla Model X with 90 kWh pack. So I know you guys tend to skip this one and go straight to the charging video, but I have to explain a little bit background here so you understand more. Is that that 90 kWh pack and also 100 packs and actually 75 kWh packs, they have a weird restriction set by Tesla back then, is that when the packs are new, the BMS or the brain of the car will count how much DC charging you have, which includes using charging adapter or CCS adapter or supercharger. And if you DC fast charge a lot, typically supercharging, after a while the car will start the so-called derating, which is that this is actually information straight from Tesla, is that it will start slowing down the supercharger speed. You see a slight decrease in speed, just maybe a few kilowatt at a time, and then eventually hits the slowest possible speed. And it goes along with that, the more supercharging you do, the slower it gets until it hits rock bottom. And that's what happened with the Tesla Model X I used to own. I drove it with a trailer, so I drove it a lot and I supercharged a lot, and it spent way more energy than normal driving. So I hit that limit quite early, and I noticed that it was charging slower than before. And then there was something that happened with the battery pack, some warranty case, and I got a new battery pack. And then what happened then is that with the new battery pack, suddenly I was able to hit 115 kilowatt again, the maximum speed. But then as I used the car with trailer, it also started derating slowly until the speed, I mean, it went from 115 and then suddenly I was getting only 110 kilowatt and then 105, 100. And then suddenly towards the end, I would get only 85 kilowatt in the beginning. And then slowly it went up to 95, which is the maximum. And then it slowed down. So that's what happened actually for several years. But then around 1 year ago, roughly in 2020, they changed that Tesla. So via software update, they unlocked the speed. Maybe they figured out that you can go faster after all. So that's what we're going to see today. So I guess we can just go for it. I can show now. So the top is the original battery. And then the bottom is the one that has been nerfed, I call it, the restricted. And then the one to the right is then the state as the car is today. So this is, well, okay, at least the bottom and the right one is the exact same battery pack, but it charges way faster than before. You see that the battery power up on top right, it goes way faster than it was ever able to do before. This is a very nice bonus. And by the way, you see that the speed on the bottom, the restricted on the nerf one, it starts with around 80 kilowatt and then it slowly goes up because I believe that the limitation is the number of amps, and as you charge the battery up, the voltage will go up, and that's why the speed slowly goes up. But then you see that if you compare this, all the three ones, you see that the new speed boost here is way faster. It has a pretty big lead here, but also keep in mind that the original battery had no degradation. The restricted one had some degradation, maybe let's say 2, 3, 4% degradation. The one today has more like I think around 8% degradation something. So keep that in mind. You can't compare the percentage directly, but at least it gives you some idea of how fast it is charging. So yeah, I forgot to show you, but you saw that it was hitting 140 kilowatt peak, which is really nice because it boosts up the speed a lot compared to the old one. You see that the old one slowly runs up. We are now at 90, that's restricted, sorry, yeah, look at the restricted, it's hovering around 91, 92 kilowatt only. But the other one, it's also starting to slow down. I can show you the graph outwards. What they do is that they go more aggressive in the low end, and then past 50%, it kind of, yeah, the speed on the latest version kind of drops fast compared to the old one. You will see that with the original and the restricted. Well, let's compare, by the way, the original at around 50%, you still receive 110 kilowatt, whereas you never got anything close to that anymore with the latest version. But also the restricted you see on the bottom, this is usually where the voltage is high enough so that you get around 95 kilowatt, and then after a while it starts slowing down. But at least for the restricted curve, you will get a flatter curve than today. So again, I will show you that soon, but now we're just gonna I show you this because this is a very good comparison to see how fast was it originally, how fast is it today, and how fast was it when it was nerfed. And you can see throughout the whole test now that the restricted one was way slower. I remember, I accidentally pumped something, but the nerf one was so slow, and I had to live with this every day almost when I did the trips. And you can see that it was charging way slower than before, and even way slower than today. And there is nothing you can do about it. You can't just go inside and reset it yourself or something. You can't pay Tesla to unlock the speed. But I guess Tesla was probably doing this, restricting the speed, because they wanted to take care of the battery, and they didn't want any I don't know, accelerated degradation, or maybe even worst case fire, which we have seen with the Bolt or Ampere E, and also with Kona. But that could be a different case. But at least Tesla, they, you can say it's lame that they restricted the speed, but they just did it to take care of the battery. And then I guess after a while they gather enough data, and they figured out that okay, it's safe to actually go higher. But you will see now that the restricted and original is starting to catch up with the latest one, even with degradation, more degradation, and technically slightly smaller battery, if you would count it like that. This is because, again, the old charging curve is flatter than the new one. But on the other hand, I think it's still a really nice boost, because for the most time when I was using the Tesla, I wouldn't charge to 90% that often. I would usually go for around 70% only, and then just leap over to the next supercharger, because we usually have lots of superchargers. But there will be times, I remember, where with a trailer, I had no choice, especially in winter, I had no choice but to charge to 90%. So again, 50-50, that was because I used a trailer. If you don't use a trailer, then you don't have the need to charge to 90% that often. But you can see that it takes a long time to hit 90%. We are still not there yet. Other than that, what should I say? Also you can see that at least for the two left cars, I also include, well, since I record the charging screen, you can see how many kWh has been added and all that. Whereas in the to the right one, then the latest recording, that one is from ScanMyTesla, which shows you battery temperature and other stuff. And you will notice that, I also forgot to mention the thermal controller. Throughout the charging session, it was actually pulling around 3.5 kilowatts for cooling the battery. But at this high end now, before we finish, then there is no need for cooling. So you will see that the original still went faster to 90%. Which is very impressive. I guess that's how it is when the battery is fresh. You can charge pretty fast. But then you see that in the old days I had to spend about an hour to charge to 90%. But now, after the speed has been boosted, then it goes faster. And what you can do, like I did when I travel recently with a trailer, is that you can utilize that high speed in the beginning and ride to around 50% roughly, and then you just charge a little bit more often. And even if you don't ride, if you don't want to stress and charge too often, you can just still charge around, let's say 65, 70, 75%. Okay, finish now, and you will still get decent charging speed. So I will show you now. We have a graph here. Interesting, you see it goes way faster than before until around, I don't remember, around 30-something%. Then it starts throttling, and then it actually drops below the speed of the old ones, the red and the blue line. So it initially it looks actually bad. But like I said, if you just ride it to around 50%, then it's actually faster than before. So, and then if you typically charge to 70% or 65%, then it's more or less the same. So what should I say then? Is this an upgrade, or is it a degrade, or is it bad or good? I would say it's damn good. It's really a relief that it's not as bad as the 85 pack, because that's a different story. The classic Model S, like Millennium Falcon, P85, 85 kilowatt hour packs, has been nerfed to the point where long trips is almost ridiculous how long it takes. The throttling is way more aggressive than the 90 pack ever was. Unfortunately for the 90, 75 and 100 packs, they lifted the restriction, but that has not been done with the 85 pack. So I guess we have to see one day in the future if the if the 90, 75 and 100 packs will also get a restriction. But when it comes to Model 3 though, on the other hand, I also did supercharge a lot with the Model 3 and that I sold MC Hammer, but I haven't seen anything indication that it would charge significantly slower. It could seem like as batteries age, they tend to lose a little bit of charging speed, but we're talking about maybe just 1 to 5% of the maximum speed or something. Normally you don't notice that, unlike the software restrictions or software program stuff like we have seen in the Teslas. But yeah, I guess this is still not over, about the software restrictions. So we're gonna see in the future if Tesla might improve stuff, but my gut feelings tells me that the 85 packs, most likely not. It's like the first generation in the Model S, so the technology back then was not the best, so there's probably no hope. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching and talk to you later.